no matter the location. From OAKLA to LV, I'm a Raider.
Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. Mitchell Rentz here, ready to walk you through today's video around trying to project the starting offense for the Las Vegas Raiders offense. And I'm not just going to give you 11 players because, let's face it, there's going to be a lot of different personnel groupings. So what I'm going to do is show you the 5 most popular personnel groupings that the Raiders ran last year, and then go ahead and project who is going to be the starters in each of those personnel groupings. Does that make sense? Hopefully so. In terms of which groupings were the most popular for the Las Vegas Raiders last season, it was these 5 right here. You have 11 personnel, you have 12 personnel, 22, 13, 21. If I'm speaking a foreign language, don't worry. I will explain and break down what each of those personnel groupings mean. But before I do, I got to show you the locked-in starters. I'm not even going to ask you who's going to be the starting quarterback. It's going to be Derek Carr. I know there's going to be some people out there that say, oh, what about Marcus Mariota? He is the backup. So in terms of locked-in starters, there's a handful of guys here. We know it's going to be Carr, started in 110 games for the Las Vegas Raiders during his entire career. Coming off, I'll say, his best season ever as a Raider, over 4,000 yards, which was a career high, 27 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, entering his 8th year with Las Vegas. Let's go to the running back position. I know that the Raiders went out and signed Kenyon Drake, but this is Josh Jacobs' backfield. Let's not get it twisted. I know he averaged under 4 yards per carry last season. That has more to do with the offensive line and all the injuries and all the pieces moving around, and less than Josh Jacobs. He is a hell of a running back in year 3. Might have his best season yet. Let's go to the fullback position now. It's Alec Ingold. He's going to be the starter. I know the Raiders decided to bring in a few other, we'll say, heavier running backs, but it's Ingold's job to lose at the fullback position. The Raiders absolutely love him. This guy's an absolute dog on the field. He is a leader on the field, off the field especially as well. So far, those are a few of the locked-in players. Before I give you a few more, I do want to give you guys this opportunity to just take 2 seconds, take 3 seconds, and hit that big red button underneath the video that says subscribe. This is a show that, believe it or not, is how I pay my bills. It's how I put food on my table. But I take a lot of pride in being able to keep you guys up to date. I've had an off day and one hell of a time. So if you guys could, smash that sub button. You're not going to find another channel that keeps you more up to date than the Raiders Report. Let's go to the tight end position. Darren Waller. He is going to be the starting tight end. No secrets here. Not only is he one of the best tight ends in the entire NFL, I can make the argument maybe the greatest Raiders tight end of all time. I'm not afraid to sit up here and say that. Over the last 2 seasons, what this man has done for this offense is just spectacular. Over 90 catches, over 1,100 yards, over 50 first downs. I know the Raiders don't have a wide receiver 1, but they do have a tight end 1, and his name is Darren Waller. Let's now go to the offensive line, the tackle positions. I know for a fact Kolton Miller is going to be at starting left tackle, and I know for a fact Alex Leatherwood is going to be the starting right tackle. Now, could some things change on the other parts of the interior offensive line? Yes, they could. Like Richie Incognito, I believe him, Andre James, Denzelle Good. That's how I see the starting offensive line looking. But let's say Incognito gets hurt in camp. I mean, obviously, if Miller and Leatherwood get hurt as well, but everyone sitting here watching believes that there's a higher chance of Incognito, Andre James, or Denzelle Good's not starting than the other 2 guys on the outside. Now, let's just say James doesn't end up starting. Maybe they could be looking at a guy like Nick Martin, who they signed in free agency. John Simpson's a player that a lot of people are excited about. Could be that swing guard, play left guard, play right guard, in case Good or Incognito aren't very good. So what I want you guys to do is keep an eye on these 2 players, Simpson, Nick Martin, and I want you to watch how they do during training camp. For those of you that don't know when training camp is, it's July 27th. So please keep that in mind. 2 players to keep an eye on, because if one of those do jump one of the starters, it could shake a few things up. So what I want every single person to do today is share this video on Twitter. I made a question on Twitter over the weekend, and I had a lot of people ripping on me for it simply because I asked the question. But you know what? It's July. I love talking about Raiders football, and another easy way to continue to grow the show is by sharing it on social media. So if you guys could, click the share button underneath this video, then select the Twitter icon, and then click post to Twitter if you want to tag me at MitchellRent365. But give me your opinion on this video. Let's continue to spread this bad boy. All right, y'all, I promised you the personnel groupings. 11 personnel. What does it mean? You're going to find all these down below. So the first number means running back. The second number means tight end. And then it's 3 wide receiver set, right? So 1 running back, 1 tight end, 3 wide receiver set. The Raiders ran this 50% of the time. If I'm going to go ahead and project the 11 personnel for the Las Vegas Raiders team here, I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs, Henry Ruggs, John Brown. Give me Hunter Renfrow in the slot, and then you throw out Darren Waller. One of the biggest reasons why I am going to go with Renfrow is because he's that machine at being able to pick up first downs. John Brown's that veteran receiver, and Ruggs is the #1 guy. They want to get him more involved. But if you disagree with my 11 personnel, it probably has more to do with the wide receiver position than running back or tight end. So that's where I'm going to concentrate on this question here. You have 5 options, basically. You have option A, you're starting Ruggs, Brown, Renfrow. Option B, Ruggs, Brown, Edwards. Option C, Ruggs, Edwards, Renfrow. Option D, you can go John Brown, Brian Edwards, Hunter Renfrow. If you think Zay Jones is going to be in there, Willie Snead, some other players as well, you can go ahead and type E. But which wide receiver 3 grouping do you like the best? A, B, C, D, or E? Let me know down in the comments. All right, let's go to 12 personnel. The Raiders ran this 199 times, 19%. I'm also going to say this because you're going to see the percentages. They don't quite line up to 100 because there's still other personnel groupings that they did. I just wanted to show you the top 5. Before I show you this top 12, or I guess I should say the 12 personnel grouping, I do want to give you guys a little bit of an update. I got an awesome sponsor. They're called Newsbreak. And if you're trying to stay up to date on everything going on in your city, it doesn't matter what your zip code is, this app is applicable and free for you. So how do you go ahead and download the Newsbreak app? Go to chatsports.com/RaidersNB. Every single person that goes to that link below, I encourage you to use your iPhone or your Android. It's a lot easier to use, and it helps me out a ton. Every single person that downloads this app, and again, it's 100% free. It shows my bosses, it shows Newsbreak, how Raider Nation loves to support its fan base. So again, it's chatsports.com/RaidersNB. That link is going to be available for y'all in the comments and in the description. Once you download the free app on your iPhone or Android, look in the right-hand corner of your screen. Hit that magnifying glass, search the Raiders Report. Basically, it's videos, exclusive videos, no ads whatsoever. You guys, I promise, you'll love it. All right, let's go to the next Raiders 12 personnel as promised. You got Josh Jacobs, Henry Ruggs, John Brown, and then 12, 1 running back. Again, then that 2 and 12 stands for 2 tight ends. So then you're going to see 2 tight ends on the field. That's going to be Darren Waller. That's going to be Foster Moreau. The reason why I have Foster up here is because I know he battled some injuries last year. Jason Witten was on top of him in terms of depth chart, but that was simply because he was still recovering from a brutal ACL injury. He looks good right now. He's been working his tail off the entire offseason. Now, what gets a little bit more interesting is who are going to be some of these other players, if you will, on this depth chart, because we know it's going to be Waller. We know it's going to be Foster. Those are your top 2 guys. Then depending on what happens with Derek Carrier, what happens with Nick Bowers, Bushman, Ellis, a lot of different directions the Raiders could go with here. Let's now go to the next grouping, and this one was ran 128 times, 12% of the time last season, 22 personnel. 22 personnel is 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, 1 wide receiver. So if I had to go ahead and project this one, again, you're going to see Jacobs, you're going to see Waller in every single one of these. Spoiler alert, they're great players. Then you could throw Kenyon Drake out there if they're going to go 2 running back set. If it's a 2-minute warning and they want to run 22 personnel, then it might actually be Drake and Jalen Richard, so keep that in mind. But then I got Waller and MOREAU here. The reason why you got to throw in Drake is because the Raiders are excited about him. They gave him $11 million in guaranteed money. Like, he's going to be out on the football field. They're probably going to use him a little bit more than what the Raiders used Devontae Booker last season because, well, he's a lot better of a player than Booker is. But when you look at this Raiders running back depth chart, Theo Riddick is probably going to be on the practice squad. I don't think they keep Regas. Garrett Groshek could maybe be a backup fullback to Ingle, but again, practice squad type of guy. Jalen Richard is the other very important name here. I don't think I personally would keep Richard due to the money, but if they do decide to keep him, he could be another pass-catching running back. Let's go to 13 personnel now. 84 times this was ran, 8% of the snaps, 13 personnel. 1 running back, 3 tight ends, 1 wide receiver. We know how much Gruden loves tight ends. Now, if they are going to go this route here, it's going to be Foster Moreau, Darren Waller, and this is a typo on my bad, Matt Bushman, you guys know, Josh Jacobs, Henry Ruggs. So that's probably what Raiders 13 personnel is going to look like. The reason why I'm going to go with Bushman instead of Derek Carrier is because I want the Raiders to be a little bit more creative on offense. They gave Bushman $125,000 in guaranteed money. That was the 8th highest among all UDFAs. Money talks. Bushman's also a much better receiver than Derek Carrier, but I am going to ask you this because maybe it's not a fair question in terms of who's the better tight end. If you're looking for just a blocker, it's Derek Carrier. If you're looking for a pass-catching tight end, it's Matt Bushman. But let's go overall here. Who's going to be that third tight end on this roster? I'd give it to Bushman. I'd type MB, but hey, let me know. Type DC for Derek Carrier. Now, if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on IG, it's at MitchellRens365. If anything that you saw from today's video, if anything you see from any video here on any of our Raiders Report shows, please, I want feedback. That's how we get better as announcers. That's how I get better at doing my job in general. So please, give me a follow, IG, slide in my DMs. Let me know what you think. All right, let's go to the last one here, 21 personnel. Again, 8% ran 80 times. 21 personnel is 2 RBs, 1 tight end, and then 2 wide receivers. I'm going to go Jacobs, Drake, Ruggs, John Brown, Darren Waller. Now, I get it. There's going to be different situations for every single one of these personnel groupings. Maybe it's 4th and 1. Maybe you see the Raiders trot out, I don't know, somebody like Alec Ingold, Josh Jacobs. But for the most part, these personnels, this is the style that you're going to see if there's no injuries. So what do y'all think here? Which personnel will the Raiders run the most in 2021? If they're going to go ahead and run more 11 or 12, that's probably the route that they're going to end up going. But please let me know down in the comments which grouping you think the Raiders will run the most in 2021.